Good morning, everyone. Bonjour, Annie Bojo. It's great to see everyone here this morning in these minus 24-degree weather. This is perfect Simcoe Grey weather. And as the MPP for Simcoe Grey, it's my great pleasure to welcome you on this frosty morning today. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the ESSA Transformer Station here in Simcoe County. And this morning, we will hear an exciting update from the Minister of Energy and Mines, who will be joined by some special guests. Actually, it's our Associate Minister of Energy-Intensive Industries, Minister Oosterhoff, who will be making the announcement this morning. And to get us started, we are grateful to be gathered here today, situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. The Anishinaabe include the Odawa, the Ojibwe, and the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We also acknowledge the Wendat Nation, who also occupied these lands. In the face of rising demand and global uncertainty, Ontario is moving quickly to strengthen our electricity system. And under the leadership of Premier Ford, Ontario is planning ahead. And we are delivering major nation-building infrastructure projects that protect affordability, strengthen energy security, and support workers and communities for generations to come. And we're doing it in partnership with First Nations and Indigenous leadership. Our government is creating thousands of good-paying jobs and unlocking long-term economic growth across the region. With that, please join me in welcoming to the podium Chief Adam Paywis of the Shawanaga First Nation, representing the Energy Corridor First Nations. Chief Paywis.
Thank you, Chief. To the Chiefs, community leaders, and to the Ontario government counterparts present today, and to Minister Lecce for his personal commitment to advancing a renewed approach to collaboration that places First Nation leadership and participation at the forefront of critical infrastructure projects. I speak today as a Chief and on behalf of the Energy Corridor First Nations. Standing with me today is united leadership of the Energy Corridor First Nations, representing the communities of Dokis, Henvey Inlet, Magneton, Shawanaga, Wanapate, Alderville, Atigmashing, Nipissing, the Mississaugas of Scugog Island, Moose Deer Point, and Wasauksing First Nations, whose treaty and traditional lands are directly impacted by the Barrie to Sudbury transmission line expansion. Our nations recognize the strategic importance of reinforcing the Barrie to Sudbury transmission corridor to meet Ontario's future energy needs and to support a strong and resilient provincial economy. This is critical infrastructure to the province and our communities, but it is inseparable from the lands, the waters, and the communities over which our nations hold inherent and constitutionally protected rights and responsibilities. Our lands are not simply routes for infrastructure. They are our territories, governed by treaty, sustained by our laws, and protected by our enduring responsibility to the past and future generations. Our partnership with the Ontario Ministries of Energy and Mines exemplifies these fundamental principles. And in recognition, we have entered into a memorandum of understanding to establish a formal government-to-government framework for advancing this project. This MOU affirms what our nations have always asserted, that First Nations are inherent right holders, not stakeholders, and that energy infrastructure within our territories must be shaped with our leadership, consent, and participation from the outset. This agreement established an exciting precedent and reflects a shared commitment to doing this work differently, guided by respect, partnership, and accountability. We view this MOU as essential to realizing this commitment, as it formally establishes shared economic reconciliation goals as a core project priority from the outset. By ensuring meaningful First Nations involvement from day one, this work reflects our leadership, honors our ancestors, and creates enduring opportunities for our communities and future generations. It confirms that First Nations are involved early, meaningfully, and continuously in decision-making, design, construction, and long-term stewardship of energy infrastructure within First Nation territories. These opportunities are essential to building strong, self-determined First Nations and ensuring that prosperity is shared, principles that the Energy Corridor First Nations have codified as our collective mandate in advancing this work. ECFN remains committed to establishing early and comprehensive First Nation involvement in Ontario's energy and economic future. As this partnership progresses, the MOU will support the ECFN and designated project development partners, including Hydro One, in defining further priorities shaping project development, and ensuring that long-term benefits of energy projects in the Barrie to Sudbury corridor align with First Nation values and aspirations. I'd like to now invite Associate Minister Oosterhoff to take the podium and make today's announcement. Miigwech Kinawea.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Hawas, and thank you for your good words this morning as well, Chief Tabadondong. We appreciate the kind words and the good way you open this gathering. And I want to thank Chief Adam for his partnership and support on behalf of the East CFN. And I want to acknowledge all of those who are gathered here. Thank you for making the trek on a beautiful, albeit a bit cold Monday morning into what really is just a wonderful place here in Grey Simcoe. I have to acknowledge my colleague who has just been an absolute champion for this community, for every single resident in Bruce Grey, and also Grey Simcoe has just been an incredible man. We call him Big Brain Brian. And Brian Saunderson has been a huge, huge advocate at Queen's Park for folks in this neck of the woods, and I have to just acknowledge him. I also want to acknowledge the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Energy and Mines. We have David Smith, who is here, a champion and an excellent parliamentarian. Thank you for joining us. Minister Lecce unfortunately couldn't make it this morning, but he sends his regrets and he sends his apologies. But he is someone who is absolutely crucial to what we're announcing and sharing today, someone whose vision and leadership in energy for generations laid out the framework for the transmission corridor we're going to be speaking about. He's someone who believes deeply in collaboration and partnership and in ensuring that First Nation relationships are led and developed with dignity and respect for First Nations in every corner of this province. And I need to acknowledge his leadership on the energy and mines file. He is someone who I've had the privilege of working now with in a number of portfolios, and I have to tell you, no one has more energy or enthusiasm than Minister Lecce, and I know all of us here appreciate and respect that. Also, on behalf of Premier Ford, I want to extend his gratitude. I know he also is deeply thankful for the work of all those who have gone into making this a reality. You know, to be here in Barrie today this morning with Indigenous leadership, with industry leaders, with representatives and community leaders, I know we have also local mayors who are here today, and I want to acknowledge those mayors for their work. And I have to also acknowledge the work of Hydro One. I mean, Hydro One has been a key stakeholder, a key partner throughout the work that we have underway here in the province of Ontario to add more energy capacity, to prepare for a significant surge in electricity demand over the next 25 years. Some people say it could be as low as 65%. We've seen estimates that show as high as a 90% increase in energy demand between now and 2050. And to meet that growing demand, we have to build out a massive amount of power generation, transmission, and production here in the province of Ontario. I will say that the reasons for this are really driven by the Premier's vision of rapid economic growth, of businesses investing in Ontario, attracting investment here, and also the continued population growth. More and more people are choosing to come to Ontario, and as they come here, we're seeing industries continue to electrify. And we know that these are really positive developments. We recognize what it means for the future of our province that we are able to have these kinds of developments. It's good news. But we need to continue taking decisive action to build, to secure a more resilient and self-reliant energy grid. One that includes securing, yes, new supply, but also critical energy infrastructure. The Premier has demonstrated that his key priority is to protect Ontario. And what does that look like in the energy space? It looks like securing our energy independence by driving sustained economic growth. That's why last year, under the leadership of Minister Lecce, we released the province's first ever, it's actually the nation's first ever integrated energy plan, Energy for Generations. I will note that it's the first ever energy plan of its kind in the entire G7. It takes all of the above approach while highlighting the need to expand and modernize our transmission system. This is about really efficiently delivering electricity across the province as a key piece of Ontario's diverse energy toolkit. That's why I'm proud to share that we are delivering one of the province's largest transmission expansion projects in modern history, with planning for hundreds of kilometers of new and upgraded transmission lines underway as we speak. Because we have an ambitious goal. Our goal is to connect communities, to connect businesses and industries, families across the province to that affordable, secure, reliable, and clean energy that they need. And with that, we're also committed to supporting the hardworking people of this region with secure, good-paying jobs. And it's not just planning for today. We're not just thinking in short-term electoral cycles. It's about real action that produces generational results. And that's why we're here, to build on the action that's already taken place and to look forward to the future. Today, I'm pleased to announce that as part of our government's latest priority project, we are fast-tracking a new transmission line from Barrie to Sudbury, providing the power to build Ontario's great northern communities and protect industries and workers for generations to come. I'm pleased to share that Hydro One will be the designated transmitter. And we have directed the Ontario Energy Board to amend Hydro One's transmission license so that they can also begin development work on a second transmission line from Barrie to Sudbury. That's planning not just for today, but for decades to come. We know that getting started on the development of this second line now will also position Hydro One to construct the line quickly in the future. The two new single-circuit 500 kilovolt lines will run approximately 290 kilometers from right here, the ESSA transformer station, to Hammer transformer station in Sudbury, with the first line targeted to come into service in 2032. This project will address a bottleneck that currently exists in the transmission network between northern and southern Ontario. This is good for a number of reasons. It's going to allow new generation to be sited in the north, and it will also supply the electricity needed to drive economic growth in northern Ontario. That's major news for industries as we lay a solid foundation to marry the rich northern resources of our great province to the might of southern manufacturing. This will also provide the transmission capacity that is necessary to power industries which are foundational to our province's economy. Industries like mining. It will continue also to support critical mineral exploration projects. That means that this project today will play a crucial role in enabling the Ring of Fire, helping us unleash the most ethical resources on the planet while supporting the workers and the industries who are involved in them. Now, new transmission infrastructure will also help by preventing power constraints. It will ensure that Ontario's industries remain at the forefront of economic development and innovation during an ongoing global economic uncertainty. This will contribute to our ongoing Made in Canada solutions which support a domestic supply chain, adding thousands of new jobs. The new lines will be significant for skilled workers in the area, supporting the surrounding communities by creating an estimated more than 9,000 good-paying jobs. It's a project that's just another example how, under Premier Ford's leadership, we're driven to deliver results, secure jobs, support industry, and ensure that the people of Ontario are protected come what may. Now, one of the things that makes this project unique and exciting and historic, it's because this is work that is being done in partnership with Indigenous communities, as you see, including the Energy Corridor First Nations. And I want to acknowledge and congratulate them for their incredible work. I want to acknowledge and extend our gratitude for your collaboration and your support. So many of you have shown also by being here this morning. It means a lot. As part of this project, the province of Ontario has signed a memorandum of understanding that sets out our shared goals, the principles of cooperation and mechanisms for joint engagement and collaboration. To date, 11 First Nations who have reserves, as well as treaty and traditional territories between Barrie and Sudbury, have entered into this partnership. And I have to assure all First Nations that consultation will remain ongoing with every Indigenous community potentially impacted by the project, as well as other First Nations who may join the consortium in the future. This is going to enable Indigenous communities to have access to meaningful economic opportunities, including equity participation, leadership in decision-making, and long-term ownership. Now, the leadership of the ECFN and other potentially impacted Indigenous communities is absolutely critical to the project's success. And I know we're going to continue to work together to establish Ontario's energy security, safeguard our environment, and also advance economic reconciliation. We know that the development of these lines would not be possible without your partnership. Thank you. To all of you who are present today, and to those who are standing with us in this partnership, thank you once again. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, we have a vision that we are unleashing Ontario's potential as an energy superpower, and also unlocking the energy might of Northern Ontario. With these two new transmission lines, we're going to continue to build on our support for communities, for industries, and for workers. We're going to be ready to meet the needs of a growing economy and population. So I look forward to continue working with the Energy Corridor First Nations, with Indigenous communities and Hydro One to advance this exciting project. I'd now like to welcome someone who has absolutely been leading the charge when it comes to building out energy infrastructure here in the province of Ontario, the Chief Operating Officer of Hydro One, Megan Telford. Thank you so much for your leadership, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, good morning, everybody, and always an honor to be introduced by the Associate Minister, so thank you very much for your leadership. And welcome to ESSA. I mean, this is personal to me. I grew up in Simcoe County, so the cold, bring it on. It's what we do. We bring the energy regardless of the temperature. So today's designation is a very important step for Ontario's electricity future. Hydro One is absolutely thrilled to be selected to develop and construct the Sudbury to Barrie transmission line. The proposed transmission line will strengthen the electricity backbone between northern and southern Ontario, helping move power where it's needed, when it's needed. It will also help relieve bottlenecks, improve reliability, and create capacity for future growth. And all of this ensures that Ontario can grow and prosper without compromising reliability. As the Associate Minister spoke about, this project will be developed with First Nations. Local knowledge and local priorities will guide and shape how this line is built. Like all our major transmission line projects, we are proud to be building this line through our 50-50 First Nations equity partnership model. This model reflects the steps we are taking to economic reconciliation, and it ensures that First Nations are true partners in shaping Ontario's energy future. This project is one of the more complex projects that Hydro One will have developed to date, given the number of First Nation partners and the vast expanse of traditional territories the line will cross. Note that we are committed, and we will navigate these complexities as carefully as we have on other projects where we have successfully built with our First Nations partners. It's no secret that Ontario's demand for electricity is growing faster than it has in decades. That demand is being driven by new homes, new industries, growth of existing businesses, and new opportunities across this great province. We are also seeing more severe storms, more strain on infrastructure, and more external threats to our grid. The takeaway is simple. We cannot wait. The time to invest and build for the future is now. Hydro One is going to deliver what this province needs to thrive. And truly, what sets us apart is how we do that work. We are a very proud Ontario-based company. With 9,500 employees, we know these investments create benefits here at home. When we build major infrastructure, we don't just employ our crews in the field. We work with Ontario planners, engineers, technicians, environmental specialists, and suppliers. People who work and paychecks stay in this province. In 2024, more than 93% of our spending was with Canadian companies, with most of that in Ontario. We are supporting jobs and families here in Ontario, and we are investing in a secure and self-reliant domestic supply chain. Hydro One is contributing to a better and brighter future for all Ontarians. And that is something that every employee at Hydro One is incredibly proud of. So with that, thank you so much again, Associate Minister Oosterhoff and Minister Lecce, for making this designation and your confidence in Hydro One. And thank you again to the First Nations leadership here today for your willingness to trust and partner with us. We're proud to help build a stronger north-south backbone for Ontario so we can power growth, protect reliability, and support prosperity for generations to come. Thank you very much.
We will now be taking questions from the media. Just as a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up if there are any questions.
Hi, Wayne Doyle from Barrie Today. Could you tell me what's the total investment that you're going to make on building both of these transmission lines?
Perhaps Hydro One could speak a little bit more about that, Megan. Thank you.
So this is the beginning. The line has just been announced. And so the two things to think about here is, first of all, if we're going to make an investment, now is the time to invest. Really important. You can see what's going on in the world and the amount of energy we need in Ontario. The second piece is Hydro One is always committed to an affordable outcome. We have a supply chain where we have lots of competition, and we invite lots of people to participate in that. You can see our relationship with First Nations. So it's too early to give an estimate because that will come at the moment of construction. We can assure you we're doing this with affordability in mind and Ontarians in mind.
Yeah, on that note, I would also note that there's always a very robust challenge function, I would say, that the Ontario Energy Board, every project has to go through to ensure that there is proper protection of ratepayers, and obviously the Premier and our whole team, Minister Lecce included, and myself, our focus is on affordability for ratepayers at the end of the day, and ensuring that there's enough power when and where you need it, and also that that power is affordable. So we're going to be working closely to make sure that that's a reality. All right, see no other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes today's announcement.
Thank you for coming.